Dr. R.N. Singh for providing me an opportunity. Professor Madam Renu Jain, the Vice Chancellor of our university, the Devi Ahilya University in Indore. My friend, and of course, one time he has been our mentor also, Dr. Ashok Kumar Sharma ji, the rector of Devi Ahilya University in Indore. Again, Dr. R.N. Singh, Dr. Rubina Chaudhary, Miss Kriti Bhati, and I can see few my old students also, like Pramod Mahajan is there, and some more are there, which I may not be recalling their name immediately. It is always a very pleasure to talk at Devi Ahilya University Indore with the students, because Indore I consider to be my karma bhumi. I started Indore University in 1989 and I worked up to 2010. And fortunately, unfortunately, there were certain family circumstances that I had to leave the Indore. But I feel not to be Indore was not a good decision. But out of Indore again, I have been able to make my place at various universities. And I have been able to contribute outside the university also. I think अगर मैं गुरु नानक जी का एक शब्द आज कहूँ जो मुझे याद आता है कि वो एक गांव गए और वहाँ के जो रहने वाले लोग थे, उस गांव के जो रहने वाले लोग थे, उन्होंने बड़ी आव भगत की बहुत अच्छा उनका ध्यान दिया। तो गुरु नानक जी ने कहा कि आप यहाँ से उजड़ जाएं। तो उनके शिष्य ने पूछा कि भाई आपने ऐसा क्यों कहा? उन्होंने कहा कि जो इनकी कल्चर है ये अगर दूसरी जगह जाएगी तो वहाँ पर भी लोगों को भाव भक्ति का ज्ञान मिलेगा। तो वही काम इंदौर यूनिवर्सिटी ने भी किया है। मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इंदौर यूनिवर्सिटी एक ऐसी जगह है जहाँ का कोई भी प्रोफेसर या स्टूडेंट अगर कहीं भी जाएगा तो वो फले फूलेगा और दूसरों को भी कुछ ना कुछ डेफिनेटली मोटिवेट करेगा उनको कुछ करने के लिए। तो ऐसी इंदौर की भूमि है, ऐसी देवी अहिल्या यूनिवर्सिटी है, उसका मैं हमेशा कृतज्ञ रहूंगा और मैं हमेशा उसको नमन भी करता हूँ। आज जो टॉपिक हम लोगों ने लिया है वो है एनर्जी मैनेजमेंट 4.0। बेसिकली अभी तक हम लोग एनर्जी मैनेजमेंट की बात करते रहे हैं या इंडस्ट्री की बात करते रहे हैं, लेकिन कुछ समय से अगर हमने देखा है कि अब इंडस्ट्री 4.0। मेरी आवाज ठीक आ रही है डॉक्टर?
बिल्कुल फाइन
जी जी,
ऑलराइट।
अभी इंडस्ट्री को भी देखें तो इंडस्ट्री भी 4.0 की तरफ जा रही है। तो लास्ट ईयर हम लोगों ने डिसाइड किया, हमारा एक ग्रुप बैठा हुआ था, हम लोगों ने कॉन्फ्रेंस किया था एनर्जी के ऊपर। देन वी डिसाइडेड कि एनर्जी में भी क्यों नहीं 4.0 की बात की जाए। इसका मतलब ये होगा कि हमें अपने एनर्जी सब्जेक्ट को शिफ्ट करना पड़ेगा क्लासरूम टीचिंग से और दूसरी एक्टिविटी से लेकर के दूसरी तरफ को। अभी मैं रिसेंटली आई विजिटेड डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी दिल्ली और मैं वहाँ पर उनके एक साइंटिस्ट से मिला। उन्होंने मुझे बताया कि उन्होंने कंट्री में 25 TIH टेक्नोलॉजिकल इनोवेशन हब बनाए हैं। टेक्नोलॉजी इनोवेशन हब 25, उसमें मेनली IITs हैं और IIITs हैं। तो देन आई आस्क्ड कि इसका पर्पज़ क्या है, तो उन्होंने ये बताया कि इसका जो पर्पज़ है वो साइबर फिजिकल सिस्टम है जो बेसिकली 4.0 या कल को हम 5.0 की बात करेंगे या 6.0 की बात करेंगे उसको सपोर्ट करेगा। उसमें मेजरली वो यही चाह रहे हैं कि आप टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलप करें और उस टेक्नोलॉजी को आप रिमोट से दूर से बैठ के मॉनिटर एंड कंट्रोल दोनों काम कर सके। उन्होंने बहुत, मैं IIT रोपड़ गया उसके लिए किसी से मिलने, उनको भी TIH मिला हुआ है। उन्होंने मुझे एक बड़ा छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल बताया कि हमने एक टेम्परेचर मेजरमेंट डिवाइस बनाया है, कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है, हम सब बना सकते हैं, लेकिन उस टेम्परेचर मैनेजमेंट डिवाइस को उन्होंने एक पर्पसफुल बनाया है कि जो ब्लड ग्रुप्स, जो ब्लड बैंक होती हैं, जो वो ट्रांसपोर्ट करती हैं एक जगह से दूसरी जगह, तो उनको एक बड़ा सेंसिटिव टेम्परेचर की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है। अगर वो टेम्परेचर ज़्यादा चेंज हो जाएगा तो उस ब्लड की जो क्वालिटी है वो अच्छी नहीं रहेगी, खराब हो जाएगी, शायद यूज़ ना हो पाए। देन ही मेंशन टू मी कि हमने ये टेम्परेचर सेंसर को साइबर फिजिकल सिस्टम के साथ कनेक्ट किया। जैसे ही टेम्परेचर में वेरिएशंस आएंगे, इमीडिएटली ड्राइवर को 3-4 जगह मैसेज चला जाएगा और दूसरा सिस्टम अपने आप एक्टिवेट हो जाएगा उस टेम्परेचर को मेंटेन करने के लिए। एंड दे हैव ऑर्डर्स फ्रॉम आई थिंक 1400, उन्होंने विद इन ए मंथ 1400 सिस्टम बेच दिए थे। तो एक अच्छी चीज थी एक इंस्टीट्यूशन के लिए कि अब वो उस सिस्टम को मार्केट में भी ला रहे हैं जिसको रिसर्च लैब में डेवलप करते हैं। उसी पे फिर हम लोगों ने सोचा कि हम लोग भी कुछ एनर्जी मैनेजमेंट 4.0 पे काम करें। हालांकि ये अभी एक नया फील्ड है, शायद धीरे धीरे ग्रो करेगा, तो बहुत ज़्यादा नॉलेज तो मुझे भी अभी नहीं है उसके, लेकिन जितना भी मैंने कलेक्ट किया लिटरेचर उसके बारे में हम लोग थोड़ा डिस्कस करेंगे। तो सिंह साहब आप शेयर करेंगे स्लाइड्स, मैं शेयर करूं?
आप कर लीजिए सर, कोई बात नहीं।
जी जी। मेरा स्क्रीन दिखाई दे रहा है आपको?
दिख रहा है सब, फुल कर लेंगे थोड़ा सा, ठीक रहेगा।
जी मैंने कर दिया है। थैंक्स वेरी मच। I think I should also thanks to Institutions Innovation Council, which is a part of Ministry of Education. The basic, actually I was earlier at the university and we were made mentors to few institutions also. This is one of the great initiative by the Ministry of Education on MHRD earlier, which was known as. The purpose is to provide support to the universities for innovations. And when we say the innovations, basically they are talking of the IPR. IPR means there can be patents, there can be copyrights, there can be designs, and there can be certain trade secrets also. So basically, if we are talking today at the platform Institutions Innovation Council, so certain innovative points would also be considered in the talk. So as I mentioned, when we were talking earlier, I think many IITs and industries are talking and Industry 4.0. When we say the Industry 4.0, it means that we are making use of facility, as Dr. Ashok Sharma has mentioned, very efficiently, economically, with higher product. And these things are only possible unless we have a control system. And when we have the control system, then we need to have an information system. So for that, I think I'll be talking a little about more later. So then we decided, then why should we not have Energy 4.0, which basically again a key parameter to run the industry, because there are certain industries which are energy intensive, like cement industry, steel industry, textile industry. These are the industries which are basically very, very energy intensive industry. So if we can have an informatic system to control and to monitor and to optimize the system, then we were going to talk about the Energy 4.0. In fact, it's not only Energy 4.0, we have published few papers like on Village 4.0, like Forest 4.0, such kind of the papers we have written. And one paper also we have written on Energy 4.0, which have been communicated to a journal. And if you are talking of Industry 4.0 and Energy 4.0, then of course the education, the universities should also be ready for that, how we can contribute in 4.0. So we have to develop a system for education 4.0, which a new education policy also mentioned that we should have now interference of the education, integration of the technology in education. So if you are talking about Industry 4.0 or Energy 4.0, then we should also talk about Education 4.0. In my last slide, perhaps I will be talking that what should be the new syllabus of energy management now with reference to Energy Management 4.0. I think I have taken a slide from somewhere, the photo. There are three words, 3E are there: energy, efficiency, and environment. And all these three words have to be taken very seriously. Madam, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Renu Jain, has rightly mentioned, if we will not think today about the energy and environment, perhaps our future will not be possible. Our future is dark. So, and if we want to meet energy and environment properly, the efficiency can play a very important role to that. And when I say the efficiency plays an important role to that, it means that the use of technology and use of cyber physical system, use of basically in other words, in very simple terms, if I say the IoT, Internet of Things, or IIoT, Industry Internet of Things, are very important for these things. So these three words, energy, efficiency, and environment, we have to think seriously. And if we have to think seriously, I think we have to go for energy management 4.0. I have written a Sanskrit quote here. Yanne hastina tat kochit. When we talk about the energy, the word says there is hardly anything in the word that is not covered here. Why I'm saying, if I have to take a breath, I need energy. Everyone, the whole world, the global, if we have to exist without the energy and environment, and that is the nature, perhaps we may not be able to exist. So our Vedas has already said it long ago, that we have to be very careful for energy and environment. We have to take all care for energy and environment. So therefore, I think we should be very particular while using energy and while taking care of the environment, because the use of energy has a direct correlation with the damaging of the environment. So therefore, how efficiently, how clean energy we can make use, that is going to help us to save the environment. Madam, the Vice Chancellor has very rightly mentioned that we have to go for the renewable energy, clean energy, and solar energy. I think I have shown this photo earlier also to few participants. If we will not be careful about these things, we can say in Sri Lanka, 2016, the Colombo city and nearby area was flooded with the water. The unexpected rain was there, and fortunately or unfortunately, I was there in Colombo at the time. So it means there are certain disaster effects if we will not be thinking today about the clean and new energy sources. Similarly, in India, 2004 Chennai, the tsunami was there, thousands death was there. Japan, 2011, the tsunami from the sea, and the houses, the vehicles, the cars, and everything was flown away to the sea, towards the sea. So it means that we had to be very careful. We had to think very carefully while making use of energy. So therefore, our place should be that we have to make it very efficiently, very properly. Similarly, in Bangkok in 2011, the Bangkok city is full of water. So these such kind of the conditions only we are existing if we will not be caring our environment, if we will not be caring the use of energy, if we will not be caring the energy management with the latest technologies. As a university, I always used to say to my faculty members and to everyone, our basic objective is to create knowledge and disseminate knowledge. And if we will be able to create, and that's one of the objectives of IIC, in the institutional innovative cell, that we should be able to create certain knowledge which can be disseminated to our students and the society. So basically, in NEP, New Education Policy, also mentions that the outcome-based education to be adhered, to be opted. If we will not be going for that, perhaps around the world, we will be lacking a lot. And as the government of India is thinking to become the Vishu Guru, perhaps we may not be. So as a university, we have to take a larger responsibility to create knowledge, new knowledge, and through IPR that has to be protected. That is one of the objectives of IIC, Institutional Innovative Cell. So therefore, I submit to my all faculty members and the students and the participants, please try to create a new knowledge. And if it can be in the field of energy or in the field of environment, perhaps our service, our message to the society, our support to the society can be very different. The most important point is the energy consumption per capita. While we are talking the energy management or energy management 4.0, the most important point is the energy consumption per capita. The world is divided into three societies. One is the developed society countries like US, Europe, Japan, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand. And the another society is like India, developing countries, SAARC, maybe African continent, maybe some more Asian countries. So energy consumption per capita is very important. I think I will be talking later about it. I might be talking later about it. That like in US, Canada, Europe, they are consuming per capita energy 10,000 to 15,000 units. Energy consumption per capita means that how much energy one person is using in 1 year. But if we talk about India, it comes to be around 1500. So 1500 and 15,000. So we are using only 1/10. However, whenever there are meetings, so always a force on the developing countries that we should reduce our energy consumption or we should reduce our emissions, which I think are very important for it. However, our energy consumption is very less. It means that somewhere our technology, our use of technology may not be too efficient as we are looking for. In India now we have BS6, Euro 6 vehicles. I think now we are also going at par with the international technologies. However, still in many areas, we have to still develop, we have to still opt new technologies, new. So I feel that Indian economy is a growing economy. And our energy, when we are a growing economy, our energy consumption per capita is going to increase. And if we want to keep the emissions, which are going to make certain negative impact on the environment, we have to keep in such a manner that we have to opt the efficient technology, better controlled technology, better informative technology, which can make me better optimization use of the technology. Therefore, we have to be very careful while we are growing our economy, while we are adopting the technology for our growth of economy. I think we all know that sun is the source of all energy. At this mother planet Earth, if we have to survive, if we have to exist, the nature has to exist on this planet. Perhaps we have to take care certain things and we have to make maximum use of the energy which are available from the source of energy. It may be solar energy, it can be wind energy, it can be bioenergy or some any other source of energy. So we have to be very careful for that we should maximum make use of those energy sources which are available from the sun, the byproduct of the sun energy, as well as can meet us our need of zero carbon policy. I think if we see the fuel transition of the fuel, in 20th century, our major focus, our major utilization was on fossil fuels. And in 21st century, if we see the first 25 years of the 21st century, we are in a transition period from fossil fuel to renewable and clean energy. However, I feel that after 2025, the renewable energy and clean energy sources will become the conventional fuels as we are going, as the government of India has planned, as the world has planned. If you see the COP26, which has at Glasgow, the commitments of various government was there that to reduce the carbon emissions with a motto to act locally and think globally. I think this is going to be a very important parameter. We have to think locally and if the effect of the environment is going to make impact globally. So therefore, the government of India has decided that by 2070, we will be having a net zero emission economy. And they have targeted that in the year 2030, they will be having the renewable power 500 gigawatt, which will be having major form solar and wind. I think solar is going to be around 300 gigawatt and wind might be 200 gigawatt and some other sources also. So if we see the commitment of the government for the clean and fuel is very high and we have to contribute for that. And I feel the required of manpower would also be very high and the requirement of investment would also be very high. One of the projection is that if we have to go 500 gigawatt, then we will be requiring US dollar 210 billions, US dollar 210 billions to make 500 gigawatt target. So therefore, the funds flow and the skilled manpower requirement will be very high in this area. If we see the India's energy challenges are there, we have, as I mentioned, we have a growing economy. So our requirement of power is going to increase every day, every year, every decade. And there are another challenge is that we have always a shortage. In certain places, still we are not able to provide the electricity. And of course, when we are growing and when we are making use of more energy consumption per capita is going to be increased, the more climate change issues, concerns would also be there. So we have to basically see that how these things can be correlate, can be integrate with each other. And if we see the sources of emissions, the energy emission from the power is about 24%. Industry is having 14%. Transport is 14%. Building is also contributing. Land use, when we are going for the change of land use of buildings and constructions, others, we do have again certain 18%. Agriculture is making 14%. So it means that the power sector is the major. The second is the transport sector. So I think we have to think now how we can manage the power sector and the transport sector with the use of new and renewable energy sources. I think in transport sector already the battery vehicle has already been introduced, and I feel by 2030 we will be having another technology that will be based on hydrogen, that is fuel cell technology, for power generation at the local level and transport sector, which is going to reduce the emissions in buildings, transport, power, and industry also. So it is going to make a major change if we are going to opt the new technologies. As I mentioned, if you see the EPI, Environmental Performance Index of different countries, as I mentioned, our consumption is less, but our energy performance index is poor. If we see the energy performance index of US, Switzerland, Norway, they are having a higher. It means that they are consuming more energy, they are having more requirement of power, but they are having better technologies. In India, we have to go further. Definitely, we have to go for better technologies. And again, I will say the better technologies can only be useful, can only make an impact unless we go for energy management 4.0 based technologies. And based on this, the sustainable goals has already been designed by United Nations, and we all have to work over. I think if we talk about the sustainable development, we are talking of three things: social, economic, and development. And the common area is sustainable to both. If we are working in this area, sustainability is going to be more protected, more providing the better and better facility for that. So if we talk about, as I mentioned initially, the Industrial Revolution 4.0, basically if we see the first Industrial Revolution, when the steam engine was basically invented. So the first century, which was 18th century, the steam-based machine was developed. Then electricity generation started. It is the second Industrial Revolution, so Industry 2.0. When computer and internet-based technologies came, then Industry 3.0, which was the part of 20th century. And when we are talking of the Industry 4.0, then information technology, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and machine learning have become more and more important for that. The same thing is again has been represented here, that in the energy 1.0 was 18th century. In 20th century, we were at the energy 2.0 when electricity was started. And in the Industrial Revolution, IT sector, computer came into the picture, then 3.0. And today, based on cyber physical system, as I mentioned very initially, the government of India, I think, has reserved around 10,000 crores for the development of cyber physical systems. Now it's the duty of all energy professionals to make use of that particular resource made available by the government of India. If we talk about the industry, as I mentioned initially, there are certain important points for industry 4.0, and they are going to be part of energy 4.0 also. As I mentioned, the automated manufacturing is going to be one part of industry 4.0, augmented reality, cloud computing. I think we are already making use of clouds where basically our all energy is being, or all data is being shared and managed, big data, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. So basically, when we talk about the industry 4.0, so our traditional courses have to be shifted, have to be now taught around all these technologies. It may be the big data, it may be clouds technology, it may be the automated, it may be the artificial intelligence, it may be the machine learning, and in energy, we cannot keep away ourselves from that, and that is going to be part of energy management 4.0. Therefore, I will request the School of Energy and Environmental Studies that please add few new courses which can maybe used for energy management 4.0. And if we are making use of industry 4.0, then we can say it's a smart factory. Now we are talking smart cities, smart stations, smart equipment. So another thing which is very important for us is the smart factory industry 4.0, which is basically, again, as I mentioned initially, making use of AI, ML, artificial intelligence, machine learning, virtual reality, edge computing, smart supply, smart grid, Internet of Things, blockchain technology, fog computing, smart custom behavior, and cloud computing and big data. And these all things will be combined together to optimize your products, to optimize your efficiency, to optimize the utilization of the resources. Then the smart factory will automatically become a part of that. So energy management, as we know, I think few students have already studied about it. It's a combination of engineering, management, and economics. And the most important for the management is the data collection, analysis, control, and this now, therefore, for energy management 4.0, as I mentioned, IoT, AI, ML, and clouds becomes very important. I think we should add to this as a part of the syllabus now, energy management 4.0. So, what is energy management? It means basically creating a awareness, optimization, manufacturing process data monitoring, climate and environmental control, and energy control. When we are doing all these control through information technology system, then we are saying we are working on energy management 4.0. Nowadays, I think we all are talking about the digitization, and certain countries say digitalization. So regarding the spelling, we forget that it is digitization, or it is a digitalization. Now, everywhere in every country we are talking about it. And it is expanded very rapidly in energy sector also. So digitalization of the energy sector has arrived in corporate reality, but not yet fully in energy sector's legal departments. One of the reasons is that still our human resource are not being trained for energy digitalization. I think we all have to work over it, that how we can train our students, our human resource for energy digitalization, which is basically a part of energy 4.0. So there is a need. Digitalization has to become a traditional industry progress, has to be now converted to digitalization, and this is the need for everyone to be quicker. So legal framework for European and Indian, everyone has to develop a legal framework for that also. So I think we also need to introduce certain courses related to the energy laws in energy management 4.0. So if we see the business model, ICT is one of the important technology which we are talking in education also. So ICT has to be utilized in the energy sector also. But one of the most important part is the finance, the resource is the investment. So we have to think that how these resources can be generated to make our smarter technology in generation, transmission, distribution, energy storage, energy consumption, trading, retail, and services of energy. So therefore, it's a very important part of that, that how the money to be obtained, how the money to be invested to get it smarter energy solutions. I think Europe has already taken in 2017 about it, and they are planning now of digital innovation, as well as they also have make a time frame of 2025, and so that the industry, the e-government, the society, economy, everyone has to focus now for a digital future, including the energy. So we are now shifting from industry 4, as I mentioned, from industry 4.0 to energy 4.0. Energy has been, as I mentioned earlier, has been the key parameter, key input to the industrial revolution so far. Either we talk about industry 1.0 or we talk about industry 3.0. 1.0, when we have the steam engine, there was a revolution in industry. When we have the new technology in 3.0 and 4.0, again, energy has a key role to play there. So therefore, now we have to shift from industry 4.0 with a major focus on energy 4.0 at a time when energy industry is struggling with the energy vents. At the time when other industries are already in the process of realizing what potential and what risk are associated with industry 4.0. So we should also think about energy 4.0. What is energy 4.0? And that is basically the energy digitization. The next big thing after renewables is to be the energy. I think we all know the energy renewables has taken a big lead in last 10 years, 15 years. So now energy digitization has to be taken lead and going to make an impact around the world. In fact, German government has already making certain policies for energy digitalization after the use of renewable sources. So physical energy would be changing in, there will be nuclear energy is going to be phased out slowly. Intermittent renewable energy has already taken part of that. Lignite, hard coal again going to be phased out. So new transmission and distribution grid and storage are going to be the major concern. Therefore, we have to think that how we can make use of the new technologies in commercialization of energy, transmission and distribution, as well as the energy storage. I think so basically, as I mentioned, so there is a need to think sensor-based communication. This is again, when we talk about the IoT, Internet of Things, the sensor-based technology communication becomes an important part of that. So in generation, in transmission, in distribution, in trading, in retail and consumption, everywhere we have to now develop the solutions for sensor-based communication enabled autonomous system. That is going to help you for energy 4.0. And I think the use of sensors as well as so measurement is going to be a major part in energy 4.0. Similarly, another point, most important point is, as I mentioned initially, when we are talking of the energy 4.0, cloud computing, big data, IT and data security, smart everything, Internet of Things, outsourcing, standardization, data protection, these all are going to be important parameters we have to work over it. Like security is also again going to be very important. So energy 4.0, basically certain things we are doing and certain things we have to add to be part of energy 4.0. So basically energy management 4.0, if I say after summarize it, energy data based concept for manufacturing companies acting in flexible energy grid of the future with the final goal of autonomous self-optimization, controlling, supervising and scheduling production and logistic steps based on reliable communication infrastructure. This is a very important part of that communication infrastructure, real-time data in accordance. So therefore, if we add the real-time data along with the reliable communication, self-optimization, controlling, supervising, then definitely we are going to make use of energy management 4.0. Same thing, basically visibility, transparency, predictive maintenance. It's a very important part of energy management or industry 4.0, so that you can predict that when you have to going for a maintain to a machine. So this is going to be very important. I think I will not be discussing this much. Applying IoT. When planning an IoT application, which is the first step in designing IoT systems, the selection of components of IoT, such as sensor device, communication protocols, data storage, and computation needs to be appropriate for an intended application. What I mean to say, if we are going for energy management 4.0, we have to talk in our subject, we have to teach IoT, sensors, communication systems, protocols, data storage, and computation, new computation techniques to be taught. So I feel when we are making a syllabus of energy management 4.0, we should add these things in our syllabus. For example, an IoT platform controlled HVAC system in buildings requires utilizing relevant environmental sensors using suitable communication technology, so that you can decide when and why my HVAC system will be functioning at what efficiency and at what load. IoT devices, which are the second components of the IoT platform, should be in the form of sensors, actuators, IoT gateways, or any other device joins the cycle of data collection, transmission, and processing. So basically, IoT, as I mentioned, is a combination of certain devices, and that should be now taught and should be made use in the energy management also. So IoT platform, as I have mentioned, it's a IoT applications, IoT devices, IoT protocols, data storage, and data analytics. This is one of the very important part of now in IoT. In any data analytics is going to play more and more role in this particular area. So applications of IoT in an integrated smart energy system. This is a system where we have the utilities and generation, regulating market is there, demand and services are there. So, and the IoT is in the center of that. So through this system, we can definitely integrate the IoT in our energy system, where generation is one side, regulatory market, the regulatory, the government, the policies is one side, and the demand and services are the other side. What is Internet of Things? Already I think I have discussed most of the things, and one of the most important is the network, WAN or LAN connectivity, IP based or WAN or LAN connectivity should be available when we are going to make use of the IoT technology. When we say the cloud, I think we have one word which is that we are going to make use of the cloud systems now. So cloud-based system is a new paradigm that integrates the emerging technologies such as Internet of Things, cloud computing, and service-oriented technologies for solving the complex problems in manufacturing and utilities. When we say the utility, that is basically energy. I think already we have a lot of application in our mobile phones of the cloud systems, clouds. So therefore, it is going to be very important, and we should be able to find out which cloud, which particular industry is offering for that. The most important advantage of the cloud system is that we can make collection data, we can make analysis data anywhere. I need not to be the plant for that particular application, for the purpose. So that is the advantage of energy management 4.0 with the application of IoT, clouds, and sensors, that I can take a decision at anywhere sitting around the globe. This is the operation of cloud. I think cloud system, basically energy system, then manufacturing, core support, knowledge, of course, would be there. And it will be two process system. We can import the data, we can export the data, and three users would be there. One is the resource provider, cloud operators, and the resource user, the industry. Resource provider may be the Microsoft, maybe TCS, maybe Amazon, maybe any other company, maybe IBM. And the industry will be the resource user. So this is the way basically the cloud operation are already working in such a manner. So if we see there is a cloud architecture requirement of cloud computing, there is a cloud provider, enterprise that uses the cloud and cloud users. Like mobile, we are making use of cloud. We are the cloud users. So basically already we are making use of that clouds, and I think that can be added now with the energy systems to make it. And if we see the limitations of the cloud's current system, data implementation across multiple applications and systems is not consistent. Data flow of knowledge sharing is restricted between user and administrator. Lack of flexibility operational approach. So if we make use of the cloud manufacturing, these limitations can be overcome by us. So energy management with cloud computing. So one is the IT sector is required there. Another is the human resource department is also required there to take care of these things. So cloud system is a network of demand-driven energy systems. It helps optimally allocate used resources and enhance productivity and efficiency. The resource virtualization model provides the method of resource sharing in cloud manufacturing environment. So energy management methods or intelligent energy efficiency examples for industries: energy efficiency, demand control, real-time prices, runtime scheduling, temperature set point scheduling, VFD optimization, load optimization. If we have an intelligent energy system, we can make use of that particular system either in energy efficiency and demand control, real-time pricing. I think we all know now there are energy trading is going to be very strong industry. Runtime scheduling, temperature, VFD, and load optimization. So this is again further going to reduce energy consumption, minimize carbon emission, meeting government restrictions, integrate green energy, optimize assets, automate. These are all benefits are going to be taken from the IoT technology which we are going to make. Like one of the example which I have taken in building management system. The goal of building management system was and still is to help optimize building performance by enabling the automatic control of a building's main operating functions and by providing data on core building operation systems like HVAC. BMS is basically one of the example when it's connected with the IoT can make help in energy management 4.0. This is one example. I will not describe it much. Real-time monitoring of generation stage in smart grid using IoT. So here, basically, we have the generation demand is there. We have the different generating units, and then solar power plant, a nuclear power plant, geothermal, hydro. They are the power generating units. They are the sensors. And then when we are taking through the cloud, the power price, generation forecast, demand forecast, all is going to be there as an integration part of a smart grid. Similarly, when distribution is there, then we are talking of user, home and building energy management system, energy vehicles, energy storage, automated metering reading, advanced metering reading, substation automation, SCADA and DMS, demand management side. So these are all going to be part of now IoT system for energy management 4.0. This is again the information flow. I think this is one thing here. The last line is saying information flow is here. This is the generation, this is the energy flow, and this is the consumption. And there is a information flow both sides to make the optimum utilization, to make the best utilization of the energy resources. I need not to discuss. So basically, if we have to go for energy, there's a business model also there where we have the energy laws, energy industry, and ICT framework, where basically we have to talk about the physical cyber system, data protection, data security, IT security, cloud computing, electronic signatures, general terms, telecommunication, telemedia, all acts has to play in the role if we have to go for energy management 4.0, we have to make certain rules and regulations. Industry, like trading, the different industries in energy are, one is the generation, grids, and storage, and trading and billing. I think with these words, I should say thanks everyone for listening me so carefully in this particular talk.
Thank you, Dr. Buddhi. Can I have some questions, sir?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Any query from your side? Hello.
I have tried to make an effort that why now we should make use of IoT or cyber physical system in energy, which is going to make perhaps a big change in energy efficiency and optimum utilization of energy. As I mentioned, there are about 10,000 crores money is available with Government of India under TIH and cyber physical system with different IITs to initiate the startups, basically startups and development and of the new technologies, utilization of new technologies, not development. Yeah.
Dr. Sasviras, any query, please? Yes, Mr. Pramod. Any query?
No, sir.
Okay. I think there is
Good
no
afternoon,
query.
sir.
Yes.
Yeah, can
Yes,
we
sir.
ask some? Can we discuss something?
Yeah, please, most welcome. If I know, I will definitely be able to start.
Yes, sir. Good morning. I'm Pradeep Yadav. You're one of your students, sir.
Yeah,
in
Pradeep,
MTech.
how are you? And where are you
Yes,
now?
sir. Yeah, so मैं actually I'm presently working as a visiting faculty at university, and as well as I'm working as an energy auditor, sir,
Very good.
as a
Great.
freelance. Yes, sir. Most recently, I worked with PwC for
Hello. Pradeep, there is some problem.
जी हेलो
बोलो भाई.
जी सर मैं ये बोल रहा था कि हम लोग यूनिवर्सिटी लेवल पर शॉर्ट टर्म कोर्सेज क्या इस तरह से लॉन्च कर सकते हैं जिसमें हम लोग इस नई टेक्नोलॉजी को इंट्रोड्यूस करने के लिए बात करें.
प्रदीप बिल्कुल सही कहा. मैंने पिछली बार शायद जून में अभी एक कोर्स ऑफर किया था 100 आवर्स का विद IBM.
हाँ
एक्चुअली IBM में हमारे पुराने स्टूडेंट थे सागर सामल. सागर इज देयर, उसके साथ मिलकर के किया था. अभी अगेन it's a little a promotional thing. I'm introducing energy management 4.0 in MTech at University of IBM. So we are again, if we can have 10 students, we will be offering with the School of Energy in association with the School of Energy and Environmental Studies, the program on energy management 4.0, and perhaps the second effort will be better as compared to the first one.
जी. Yes, sir. Actually, we are planning to work on these issues at our university level at DAVV, and we'll definitely work out and I'll discuss with you, sir.
मैं डॉक्टर आनंद सिंह, आई विल मेक ए रिक्वेस्ट, अगर आप अपने बच्चों के लिए कोई कोर्स सभी को कंपलसरी कर दें कि भाई ये पढ़ना है.
जरूर
जी.
And the charging will be minimum. There will be not much, but I think it can add a value.
जी, definitely.
It will be the future.
Definitely. जी sir. Thank you, sir.
जी, thanks.
Any more query from the audience?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Jaswant.
Hello. Yes, sir. First of all, good morning, sir. And it's very full and especially the energy is a much expected thing that we are expecting from our industrial. It is also the part of industrial 4.0 review. So Okay.
Yeah,
Like
actually,
the thing which we hello
yeah, Jaswant, basically
hello.
industry 4.0 cannot be complete unless we have an energy 4.0. Okay, Pramod, what do you say? Pramod is there, Kant Tiwari is also there. I think very good.
Sir, as you say,
Bhavani is also there. I think great.
sir, as you say, it's really correct because without energy 4.0, it cannot be energy 4.0 in the industries. Absolutely correct. And I will request Aryan sir and you also to have some industrial focus in the with the university.
So
ताकि वो काफी
what we can do,
हाँ सर
we can make a cloud, basically cloud system, and
Yes,
that
sir.
can be explored by anyone, either School of Energy at Indore University or at our university or some other places also with our students also. We can make a cloud that we can do.
Okay, sir. Thank you.